Hello. I wanted to talk now that I'm in a very dark place, let's say, just to help other people understand that it's very normal to drop down into a very, let's just say, hopeless kind of place. Like you feel like there's no end to this time. And some people feel this in various points in their life. It's a very normal thing because the depression itself that occurs, there's multiple reasons. It's usually a time of rest, and some people resist it because they don't want to be stuck there, and that's okay. You know, some people are scared because being stuck in a depression can lead to more serious things like suicide if you don't pull yourself out. And that's why it's good to have support and tools and spiritual teachings to help you understand, to be there and accept where you're at and know that it's not going to stay that way. It's not going to stay that way at all. The ones that do get stuck there, it's because they usually don't have enough support, or it's been a long time that they've learned this kind of, or not learned, maybe just been in it for so long that sometimes it becomes the reality. The depression becomes, or they think it is who they are, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy as well. So it's really complex. It's a complex issue. When I go into a place like this, I go into an acceptance. Like I know, I listen, and if I can't see a client, if I can't talk to people, I accept it. I don't put myself down and say, oh, I should be able to do this because I'm a healing, I provide healings for people and I should be able to do this. Like, what's wrong with me, right? I don't talk to myself that way. Actually, I'm human, and all humans experience these down times. And what's happening during this time with the whole global, I don't want to say pandemic, I'll just call it that, pandemic, everyone is experiencing some level of anxiety or depression. I'm just focusing on depression right now because I'm in it, so it's easier for me to talk about it. Anxiety I've had too, but the depression is sort of there's layers. I feel the depression is the deeper layer. The anxiety pops up on top, and it's very normal to feel isolated and alone right now because we can't do a simple thing like hug another human being. It's almost ridiculous. And so that can create a lot of feeling of hopelessness in people. Not only that, it's just some people rely on external stimulation to keep them happy. And once all that's taken away, like distractions of work and activities and socializing, all that's gone now. What happens? You're stuck with yourself. You're stuck with the reality of your aloneness, which people misinterpret as lonely. But really, aloneness is really important to be able to learn And when I mean learn, it's like the aloneness gives you time to expose yourself to you and your wounds, and the fact that you've been distracted, and the joy that you had, that you thought you had, was very much an external thing. And this is not applying to everyone. By all means, it's not. It's actually more, some people do realize the joy is coming from the internal self, and there's an inner joy and an inner peace that we can all attain. But this time is now allowing a lot of people to awaken to the reality of they didn't have that joy inside them to begin with. And so it's easy to fall deep into depression without all the external stimulation of people and events and activities. So what I'm saying is, use this time to observe what's actually happening. Is that you're being tested. You're being tested, and you're being called to truly identify the source of truth and joy within you. And it's like you've been stripped away of all these really easy things to give you the illusion of joy. And not that they don't, they're not provide, like we all need social interaction, but it's if you rely only on that this situation of the coronavirus is really going to test you now. So in my situation, I don't know the extent of it at this moment, although I can see that it's affecting me. It's almost like, not to be over dramatic, but it feels like my life has been like falling apart, and I've been divided almost. I've had to exclude people off social media. I cannot have certain energies around me because it's like a theme of being misunderstood, and the more I'm misunderstood, the more alone I am. There were activities that I was doing that was keeping me connected to myself, so I was relying on those, like singing and dancing, and those are gone. Although I could sing and dance at home, but in a group setting, it's a different experience, right? Because then you get to connect. So the challenge is now to connect to yourself. Connecting to yourself. Finding that God within you. Now, God doesn't have to mean a religious God. God is everywhere. God is here. God is everywhere. Here. This is God. God is here. God is in my dog. Okay? Right there. The little kind of waterfall. That's God. Everything is God. You need to find it within you. And that is how you break through this time, is you find that internal sense of self-love and self-fulfillment, self-worth. Merging into who you really are. You no longer need to rely on everything else to keep you uplifted. That's all just a bonus. The self-pity, the victim, these are all illusions. We're all okay. It's when you let those take over. When you let the victim take over, that's when you collapse. You forget who you are completely. So there's two things to do here. Surrender. If you feel depressed, just allow yourself to feel that way. Feel it, understand it. Why is it there? And then reconnect to the source inside you, to God, to who you really are, the infinite being of yourself. That is the key to uplifting and coming out of it. It's a trust. It's a trust that we're all connected. We're all going to be okay. So just have faith in yourself. Have faith in the process of what's happening. There is a plan here, and know that you going into a depressed state is just part of the entire process. And there's no need to push yourself to do anything else right now other than just sit with it and see and observe yourself and love the depressed part of you, love the victim, and love the truth, and love the love inside you, really. So I'm going to continue my walk with my dog and connect to the surroundings. It's a sunny day, so it helps. So I wish you all well, and I'll be back with some more words as I feel it. Thanks.